NBA and the one-and-done draft rule in particular, and just to give you a background of the rule, kind of explain the controversy surrounding the rule. The rule was accepted by the Players Union through collective bargaining in 2005. And how collective bargaining works, the league proposes a rule, and the Players Union and the league both have to negotiate and accept it. So it was put in effect in 2006 for the first time. The rule states that in order to be eligible for the draft, high school players, it's trying to keep them out, so you have to be 19 years of age and 1 year removed from high school basketball. So that pretty much leaves players with three options. You can either play in college, which you can't get paid for, but it's the better competition. You can play in Europe, which is you get paid, but it's lower competition. Or you can choose to stay out for a year and not play at all. That's kind of drawing a large controversy. It's forcing players to go to college for the wrong reasons, and it's degrading the college education system because players are not using college for just a pathway to the NBA instead of going for actually learning anything. The first example is Brandon Jennings. He was a player recruited by Arizona. He was the #2 point guard overall, projected to be a #1 pick. According to BleacherReport.com, Jennings was quoted as saying he had no interest at all in going to college, and the only reason he was going was because he had to. He chose to sign a 1-year contract in Europe instead of going to college. Another example is Jeff Capel, the Oklahoma University head basketball coach. He was quoted by the Washington Post saying that the rule made a mockery of college education and teaches kids to go to college for the wrong reasons. The second aspect is very negative. It hurts the players' draft stock and reputations. Many of these players are highly regarded out of high school. They're projected to be #1 overall, millions of dollars. And by playing against great competition, sometimes their weaknesses are exposed. And an example of that is John Wall. He plays for University of Kentucky. He was projected as #1 overall pick out of high school, but he was forced to go to college to play 1 year. ESPN.com reports in its annual draft analysis that this season, Wall's draft stock has dropped because playing in the NCAA tournament, he didn't do that well, and a lot of his weaknesses were exposed. And that decision could cost him millions of dollars. Another example, Derrick Rose. This is an example of his reputation being tarnished by this rule. He was a guard for the University of Memphis in 2007, also projected as a high draft pick out of high school. He was not allowed to enter the NBA because of this rule, and he opted to go to college, but the thing is, he didn't have the grades to get in. So the whole situation, he felt the pressure and cheated at one's SATs, and now that's been exposed, and now his reputation is tarnished because of the rule. NBAFanhouse.com reports that Derrick Rose had no interest in going to college, and the only reason he cheated on his SATs was because he felt like if he didn't get into college, he would have to sit out and possibly not get drafted at all. There is, however, a positive side to this. The rule forces players to attend college so scouts can further evaluate the talent. That's kind of the reason from the NBA standpoint. The draft is becoming overinflated because any high school player can enter. BasketballStatistics.com reports that drafting high school players is kind of an all-or-nothing approach. You don't really know exactly what you're getting. You have limited film, and you don't really get to see them play against good competition. The effect of the rule is kind of send the players to play on high competition in college. Get to see them play on a large national stage, and that'll eventually prevent draft busts. Second positive reason for this rule, it's a better marketing aspect for the NBA. They get to familiarize the nation with all these great players by putting them on the national stage, create hype for the NBA draft. If you see these players on ESPN for 3 months playing 1 year of college, you're going to get to know these players, you're going to want to see them drafted, so you're going to watch the NBA draft. NBCSports.com emphasizes the business aspect. They claim that the NBA passed this rule so that they could just market the players longer, create more of a fan base for the NBA. So this NBA draft rule, the large controversy, it's divided basketball. You have the side that thinks this is a great rule, the business aspect obviously, and the NBA doesn't plan on changing it very soon. But then you have the coaches in college who have to deal with recruiting one-year players over and over. Kentucky is known, John Cal is known for recruiting one-year players only. But then Duke, Mike Krzyzewski, he will not recruit one-year players. So it's kind of dividing basketball into two sides, and it's opening the door for further modifications to the NBA.